Dear colleagues and students, this Yoga Day to celebrate was proposed by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2015, which is endorsed by the members of 175 United Nations. They acknowledged the importance and outcome of this yogic practice, the ancient wisdom, the treasure of knowledge. And since then, we've been observing this day as an International Yoga Day. And the very reason why this day is being observed as International Yoga is because yoga represents energy that enlivens or I can say it animates the matter. A being, to be a living being, it is the energy that enlivens and animates the matter, and this energy is represented by yoga. On this particular day, there is a tilt of globe, Earth axis, towards the sun, and because of the tilt, the northern hemisphere experiences the longest day in the year. Sunrise will be early, sunset will be little later. The lengthiest day, we are exposed to the sun, and sun alone is the source of energy for all the living beings on the earth. And because yoga is very much related to the energy, this day is chosen to be observed and celebrated as an International Yoga Day. This word yoga is opposite of viyoga. That's how this word yoga has originated. So viyoga is separation. Opposite of viyoga is yoga, so which is union. So as Tanusri was saying, it's the union of body, mind, and soul. I would also say it is the union of the thought, word, and deed. And much of our stress, the sole reason for much of the stress that we go through in day-to-day life is because constantly we are bothered by the mental conflicts in the mind. What we think is different, and what we speak is different, and what we do is entirely different. And any conflict in the mind generates stress, which is the underlying root cause of stress. If thought, word, and deed can be in the same axis, when you reach a null point, then you can be completely free from the stress. And even according to definition of health by World Health Organization, it defines not just physically being well alone is not considered as being healthy. So if you can recall the definition of the WHO, physical, mental, social, and also spiritual well-being is what health is all about. So many, the elderly or middle-aged, they go to hospital, they go for some kind of health checkup. Routinely, conventionally, all the tests which are considered to be in the package, they are all done. And if there is any change in the numericals that you see, the doctor says that you are perfectly all right, and also patient feels happy and gets back home. So, mere physical health checkup, it doesn't imply or confer being healthy. And in fact, the stress itself can manifest as psychosomatic disorders, and physical illness by itself can lead to mental stress. So the only permanent answer for the lasting results to deal with the stress, among the various remedies I know from my own experience, I say that resorting to yoga and meditation alone can give a lasting relief from all the stress that we go through. And usually, another reason for the stress that we undergo is, say for example, students, many of the students are here. Can any student give me the answer why you feel stressed while you're here, while you're studying? What is the root cause for your stress? Is it content or syllabus or load? What is the reason? Why do you feel the stress? Subject is not interesting, or volume or load you need to carry? What is the reason for stress? And even what is the reason for the stress experienced by the employees? Exactly. She has hit the bullseye. Wonderful. See, students, all the while when they are studying, their focus is not on the studies. Their focus is on the result of the exam. Because they are preparing only for the exam. And their focus is on the result. When the focus is on the result, effort will be impeded. And that itself can be the cause for stress. And employees also, including me, anybody, whoever it is, whoever and whichever position they're all working, we keep expecting for our elevation of the post, and then obviously for the whatever monetary benefit and all that, all these expectations. So even your day-to-day life, this thinking, clinging to the past about what the bad experience it has been in the past, and what you're looking for and hoping to get and expecting in the future. So these are all the root of stress. And this practice of yoga and meditation, the seat of this yogic practice is it lets you live in the present. It helps you, it makes you realize being is important than becoming. Living in the present. Make the best use of the time that is there at the present. Focus on the job at hand, and the result will be taken care of on its own. So even in Bhagavad Gita we say, Sri Krishna saying, Karmaలను చేయటి అందే నీకు అధికారము కలదు కానీ వాటి ఫలితం లేదు. అట్లనే కర్మలు చేయటం మానరాదు. So that is a wonderful counseling. Actually I call it the word from Gita, I would say. It is all because we are not focusing on the job in the hand. And another thing is, the moment we say yoga, many have an impression that it is confined to the yoga asanas and some sort of physical exercises, stretching the body and all that asanas. And many people, they end up practicing only the physical asanas, and not many of them go beyond this physical asanas. Actually, these yoga asanas are a harbinger for the spiritual path ahead. Actually, all this yoga asana, it is a kind of bodily preparation for practicing the meditation, which is the seat of yoga. So, many people think that it is not their cup of tea to practice meditation. They think that we cannot meditate. When they sit for meditation, they are very much troubled by their thoughts. The very reason that you are very much troubled by the thoughts is the reason for you to practice. That cannot be the reason for you to give it up. And in psychological terms, the same meditation, I can refer to it as what you call deconditioning of the mind. And I hope you know what is conditioning of the mind. Conditioning of the mind is habitually thinking what you think routinely, the same thought occurs, and you do the same things again. And even if you want to change, there is some kind of resistance, physical resistance and mental resistance for the change. And transition is painful, they give up, and then they continue to do what they do and what they think, they continue with that. This is what is conditioning. And this is what is the resistance we face when we want to transform ourselves and change over to some other state of mind or something. So this is, meditation is an effective means of deconditioning of the mind. It helps in rewiring of the brain. I tell you, The neurons of the brain, their interconnections in the neurons, they keep varying depending on your line of thinking, nature of thinking, the habit of thinking. It determines the interconnections between the neurons. And they can be undone, they can be reverted, and when you practice for the sufficient time and consistently this meditation, the rewiring is possible, and the thinking pattern will change, the desired way of thinking and doing, and the chosen life is very much possible, the chosen character transformation is very much possible by way of your meditation. No amount of preaching by any of the Swamijis can transform you. You need to transform yourself. And this transformation is within. And your teacher and guide is within. If we were to transform on listening to the preachers all we know worldwide, would have been transformed by this time. But it doesn't happen. So in the language of psychology, it is a deconditioning of the mind, scientifically speaking. And it also helps in many ways. You can abate negative thinking. The memory also will be increased. The way of looking at the things, you will have a broader vision, and you will be open-minded, less stressful. And in addition to this, there are certain significant physiological changes occurring in the body with a consistent practice of meditation. There is a shift of the nervous system, particularly the autonomous nervous system. There is a shift from more sympathetic tone will be lessened, and there is a shift towards the parasympathetic nervous system. So which is we all know what is the benefit of parasympathetic and what are the ill effects of more of stimulation of your sympathetic nervous system. So it reduces the heart rate and then rate of respiration. It brings the body metabolic rate to the lowest possible level, so that we are able to sustain with, we are able to carry out the normal activity with less of energy expenditure and less of metabolic rate. And actually, your process of aging all because of more of production of free radicals. And the moment the metabolic rate is controlled, production of free radicals is also controlled. Almost every ill effect in the body that is occurring at the aging is attributable to the free radical production, which can be well contained by practice of meditation. And eternal youth is also possible. Maybe I have not tried enough. Maybe I have not tried enough. Why? Because when the cells are dividing, as the number of cell divisions, as the cell is going ahead with the mitotic division, if with each division, the DNA synthesis has to take place, followed by the mitotic division with the sharing of the chromosomes. So when this DNA synthesis is taking place, the length of the DNA, when compared to between mother and daughter cell, there is a bit of shortening of the length of the chromosomes in a daughter cell. It is because of the decreased activity of a telomerase enzyme. And meditation is supposed to maintain this telomerase activity and then maintain the length of the chromosome, and probably the number of the cells, the number of divisions it can undergo may be prolonged much more, and you can enjoy your youth for many more years than you imagine. So these are all, I have referred from different works which have been carried out related to this. So all said and done, do not take this as a ritual or any kind of religious activity. This is perfectly a psychological science. When you go beyond the psychology, it becomes philosophy and spirituality. You cannot go and you need not go at this age. At least for the time being, you realize the importance of yoga and enjoy the benefits of yoga by consistent practice, and the results are very cumulative. Each day when you meditate, the same day you cannot see the result. When you do it consistently for few weeks or months and maybe even years, with the cumulative effects of the meditation, you can really see a different version, the best possible version of yourself. So, wishing you all the best. Thank you for the opportunity.